Hi, it's We here from WeCon Wargaming with Clarence.
Hello!
From Parts Unknown.
Parts Unknown.
And we just came back from the Barrie Bash 2018, held out in Barrie. Or some people like to say Barrie, but
Barrie.
It's actually held in a different venue than it's normally held. It was held in a golf course, Tangle Creek, which is basically right outside of Barrie. But yeah, so that was put on by our friends Scary or Ridvin. Yeah, from Scardcast, as well as Martin from wargames.net, I want to say, .com. Okay, I'm not sure.
Wargames.eu maybe?
Something like that. Something like that.
Yeah.
I'll put a link up.
He was there too from the UK, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So it's a very large singles event for 40K and on the Ontario region. Mm-hmm. It's probably the largest, I think, in the year in Ontario.
Yeah, in a long time. It had 60 odd players. I can't remember the last time a tournament's had that many single players.
Singles, yeah, for singles. Yeah, definitely there's a big team tournament coming up, which we'll have coverage of, but for singles, this is the largest that we have.
In recent history,
And it's enough to get a major status, right?
Yeah.
So
it's pretty awesome.
So we'll go through our games, talk about our armies, and then we'll just have like an overall summary of how the tournament was and just our overall thoughts.
Yeah,
right.
sure.
So, Clarence, why don't we start? What was the list that you took?
So I brought demons. I had been practicing with a different demon build, and then our friend Diogo or Yoshi came up to me and said, "Hey man, there's this really cool list. You should try it out." And I'm like, "Okay, well I actually have a lot of the pieces of this list. I'll give it a go." So I literally had zero practice with the actual list beforehand. So what I ended up taking to the Barrie Bash was what's called the Pink Star. So it's 30 pink horrors, and then you have enough summoning points to split them into blues and the brims. I didn't go full Pink Star, meaning I could only transform 20 pinks into 40 blues and 40 brims. And the way you make it really annoying for your opponent is, let's say they wound you 10 times. You then, you don't roll all 10 saves on the pinks, because you actually want to preserve the pinks as long as possible. You roll, let's say, 4 dice, and you spend 2 command points to give them +1 invols, also 3 + invols. So you roll 4 dice, maybe you lose 1 model, right? That 1 model becomes 2 blues. You then take, let's say, 3 more dice, and you say, I'm going to roll now on the blues immediately. Boom, you roll 3 dice, let's say 2 blues die, they become 2 brims, you then roll the remaining dice on the brims. So it's really annoying because you kind of divvy up all the wounds onto the crappy models you don't care about. So the pink star doesn't shrink very much as a result. And it's supported by a lot of Exalted Flamers that shoot 12-inch flamers or las cannons. It's got a bit of smites with Heralds of Tzeentch. But the big main idea is you got a big bulb of 30 pinks moving forward, screening all your characters.
Is there a reason why you pick 4, like let's say out of the 10? Like, why not just do them 1 at a time and wait for them to kind of...
That's even more annoying, and that'll take even longer.
Well, you're purposefully taking an annoying list.
You could do it 1 at a time, absolutely, right? But I'm like, okay, on 4, I expect to lose 1.
Yeah. Worst.
So I figured 4 at a time seems about right. Sometimes you would lose more than 1 or 2, and then but I had the spare models to spare anyways, it didn't matter.
Yeah, so it wasn't like you built this army custom for the Barrie Bash?
No. Yeah. And I mean, the list that won is called the Plague Star, I think, or the Plague Blossom.
Yeah.
And it works off of the Pink Star with the Poxwalkers, and it's a very, very strong combo.
Yeah.
But yeah, you'll hear about how it fared out.
Yeah. I mean, so yeah, we'll talk about that. I think the overall part. I mean, my list is actually very simple. So I have 2 parts. One is a Supreme. Is it called Supreme Detachment? The Super Heavy Detachment.
Super Heavy Detachment.
We'll just go that way.
Yeah.
And it says 3 Renegade Knights, all with double Gattlers because double Gattlers are cool. And Knights. Who doesn't love Knights? And I'm lazy, so it's easy. And then the other part is really 2 Heralds. One was a Herald of Khorne, and the other is a Herald of Tzeentch. And 2 units of 3 minimum Nurglings, just to kind of zone out, and 3 units of 10-man brims. And that's basically the entire army. So I just have like enough kind of board coverage zoning to hold off deep striking for a turn or 2, let the double Gattlers do all the work, and then hopefully I survive something till the end of the game. Yep. But I expect a lot of stuff to die in my army, which is fine. I mean, it's cool, right? Yep. So yeah, let's talk about the first game. Yeah,
sure. So I played against Burton, and it was great to play against Burton because Burton and I are actually friends from high school. So I'm 36 now, and I met Burton, I think I was in grade 9 or grade 10. So we've been playing Warhammer for literally 20 odd years, which is crazy.
Yeah, you went up against your old sensei.
Yeah, not really. But we used to play after school on Wednesdays. One of our teachers actually played Warhammer, and he would have a Warhammer club. We'd play on the terrain that the architects would build and stuff. It was really, really cool.
Wait. You had an architecture like class
yeah.
in high high school?
Yeah. So they were building like little dioramas of buildings and layouts and shit. It was really, really cool. Really well done.
1% life over here.
It was a public school, and he was running Yanari, and Burton has a former ETC player, so he was pretty sharp back in the day. He hasn't played a lot of 8th edition. He doesn't really like it as much because it's crazy, and it is crazy.
Yeah.
Having said that, he's not a dumb player, and he's running, a list similar to the one that won the LVO. So it's definitely like sharp and top tier.
I mean, I saw like 2-3 Crimson Hunters in that.
He had 3 Hemlocks.
Man.
3 Hemlocks.
Okay.
He had the big Dark Reaper unit, 2 small Dark Reaper units,
Yeah.
Rangers to zone things out. And of course, he had the Shining Spear unit, which is very interesting for me because I've read all about them. And on paper, I could appreciate what they were about. But when you play against them, you're like, holy crap, these things are so cool. They have so many tricks and doodads, right?
Yeah.
So the long and short end of our game is that my army's pretty durable, but I just don't have a lot of damage output. That's long range, especially. Mm-hmm. So he deployed really, really far away, and he was keeping me kind of in my zone with the Hemlocks and the Shining Spear, so I can never really engage the core of his army. So through ITC format, you're always getting points, but he was always getting a few more points than me overall.
Would you consider, like, if you were playing that again, would
Yeah.
you consider deep striking the Pink Star close, like, to get into his grill? Or is that difficult because you had the scouts and stuff like that in the way? Like the Rangers.
You know what? In hindsight, maybe that's a good idea,
Because
actually.
like if you took like a Nurgling unit, let's say,
And
to
I had
break the
Nurglings.
thread-
I had 9 Nurglings.
Yeah, so if you drop one in,
Yeah.
and then you said, okay, fine. Now I can drop the Pink Star like way
Yeah.
up in your grill, and
Yeah.
my range is not that big of a deal anymore. And like, what are you gonna do?
Yeah,
You'll still shoot as much as you did before.
Yeah.
You get super long shooting.
That's true. That's definitely possible. I guess the thing to worry about is if you don't go first, then I guess it's not that bad. I was gonna say then you can shoot the characters, but if Nurglings are closer, you can't shoot the characters, I guess.
Yeah. The one thing that you said about your army is that it eats command points, though.
It eats command points, which is what's rough.
And that would take 2 command points, right, for the Pink Star.
Yeah, I only had 9 command points, and I say only because what I found out over the course of the games, which is a running theme, is that it takes 2 command points to give the Pink Star +1 invul, which is what you need to keep him alive. But then because you're putting the wounds on the blues and the brims have a 4+ invul, the brims have a 5+ invul, you're actually losing a lot of models. Like I was consistently losing 12 or more models a turn, which meant that I still need to blow 2 more command points to make them auto pass morale.
Yeah, that's right.
And the thing is, if you, I'm pretty sure if you kill Pinks off through morale, they don't split either. 99% sure that's how it works. So you really, don't want them to run away.
Yeah.
So that's why it's so kill point heavy. I think the list has got potential to be run similarly, but you'd need like 12 command points, which means running a brigade pretty much.
Definitely.
So yeah, it was a loss overall. But what I learned about Yanari, which is pretty cool, like some of the cool tricks I know about was when the Shining Spears charge in, I thought he was going to do a mass charge on a bunch of characters. He's like, nah, I'm just going to hit one character and then immediately soul burst away. And because you can advance when you move, he moves 22 inches away. And the way the train was built, it was actually a bunch of buildings. He could easily pop behind a building and get out of range of my spells and my shooting. And it was like, oh crap, because I thought once he charged in, he was committed, I would at least be able to kill a unit in return. But no, that's not the case. He would snipe like a character and then jump back behind the building.
That's pretty cool.
That's really cool.
I never heard that.
I never heard that either, and it was really neat to see that. And then the other thing that was nasty was his Hemlocks.
I say like cool, but it's right there.
So
Eldar!
His Hemlocks, of course, are all Teok Hemlocks, meaning they have a natural -1 to hit being a flyer, and then -1 hit again if they're more than 12 inches away. Now, he actually ran them really aggressively into my grill because they only have, I think, an 18-inch range. So I was like, okay, great, I can actually hit him with my last cannon shots from my Exalted Flamers. But the thing is, I still have to move forward. I don't want to hang back from my Exalted Flamers because eventually I have to get to his Dark Reapers, hopefully, down the line. So I'm moving, and it's -1 to hit. I got within his 12-inch bubble to ignore the Altair penalty, but it's still -2 to hit. So you're still hitting on 6s. I reroll 1s, but it just was not enough damage. I think all my guys shot brought one Hemlock down to 4 or 5 wounds. But the problem is when Hemlocks degrade in damage, degrade on the profile, they only lose movement. Their shots automatically hit. So it's like, oh, blue skill doesn't matter, right? So I'm like, okay, well, how far do you move now? He's like, oh, I can still move like 40 inches. So it doesn't even matter, right? It doesn't even matter that you degrade the movement. Eldar, right? So that was pretty cool. I mean, against another build, if you go second, maybe they don't do so well.
Yeah.
But against me,
are you gonna prioritize them though? Like if you're shooting, like
I made the wrong move. I think what I should have done instead was I should have shot the flamers, not the last one.
because they auto hit.
The
right?
auto hit,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
and
yeah.
you get D6 strength 5.
Yeah, that could get through.
It could get through. Strength 5 was winning on 5s, rerolling 1s to wound. So it might have done better overall, but I'd have to roll that and check it out.
Yeah. It's difficult to know. Like it's definitely a trade-off, right? Like my to wound is way worse, but to hit,
Yes.
like that's where all the buffs are. Like
Yes.
the debuffs are
Yes.
for his build. Those units. So it does make more sense, I think, just on the math to use flamers. Just,
Maybe, yeah.
Just override those debuffs, right?
Correct. Yeah, I would definitely try it out. But so it was a good game. He was a great player, and even Rusty, he still kicked my ass. So
Yeah. Well, he's playing Eldar.
he's playing Eldar. Yeah.
He's felt.
Yunari Eldar, Altiak Yunari Eldar, no less.
Burden. Yeah, I mean, we both had a long history with Burden.
Yes.
We've been on the same team with him before.
Yes,
and,
he's a super nice guy.
super
by the way.
duper nice
super
guy.
nice guy. One of the most chill guys you'll ever meet.
Great painting.
Awesome
great
painting.
display board. Great hair. Everyone loves his hair.
Loves his hair. and he's a baller. Baller.
Yeah, he's a baller from Stouffville. So
Yep.
yeah. So actually, one thing is we didn't mention was that the mission was Cut to the Heart, the ITC mission.
Yes.
That's the one where you have like 3 objectives.
Yep.
And like one's in the middle basically, and then one's on your side and their side, right? So it's a pretty simple mission to start off with.
And I want to mention that if you haven't played ITC missions, what's interesting about them is that the missions themselves don't actually mean a heck of a lot. They just tell you how to place objectives and where they go. Yeah. The real game comes in the secondaries, choosing secondaries to sort of maximize your points. Because objectives, it's not like they determine even deployment zone. It's just how you place them literally. So it's not, the missions don't mean a lot. It's more about the secondaries.
Yeah, do you recall what your secondaries were?
Usually I took recon.
Okay.
My army has infiltrating Nurglings, and it always pushes towards the middle, so I always take recon usually. And then it usually depends on my opponent. So I think I took big game hunter against them because I'm like, okay, I'm going to kill some flyers. Wrong. And then I think I took behind enemy lines maybe, or maybe I took old school. I can't remember.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine. I mean, yeah, so needless to say, you took the L.
Took an L.
Took an L on that one.
Close game was actually like not a big point spread, but it is no regardless.
Yeah. So in my game 1, I played against. I wish I had his name. I mean, I have his list, but I don't have his name.
I can remember it.
Yeah.
Talk about game.
Okay. So the game was it was against his Death Corps of Krieg army. So Clarence saw this army beforehand. He's like, "Oh, that's really cool," because everything in this army is modeled with squats and like.
Oh yeah.
Right, the squat army.
That army's cool.
And they're all on like little ponies and stuff like that. It was so cute, right? And so the list though, not that cute.
So his name is Dave.
Dave. Okay, Dave. So I think you had a marshal and a field officer, 3 units of infantry squads. I mean, I'm not too familiar with Death Corps of Krieg, right? So he had 2 Earthshaker batteries. Those were definitely scary for me. 2 Hydra batteries, which were not that scary actually against non-flying targets, right? Then he had also 2 Vulture gunships and a bunch of riders. Death Rider squadrons or something like that. So he had like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. 4 of those were 5-man units, and 1 was a 10-man unit, right? And then he had a bunch of infantry squads, so like 3 infantry squads and a couple commanders. So that's the whole list. It's a lot of units, right? So obviously I took Reaper, I took old school, and I took like recon because like I don't know, like I'm not gonna get like death by 1,000 cuts. It's difficult, right? So in that game, I mean, I went first, and I was able to take down a Vulture gunship with shooting, and like take the other one down. But really, I didn't think that. I just didn't think Earthshaker cannons were that scary until they started shooting back at me. I was like, oh, this is really bad.
Strength 9. What?
Oh, what is this?
Jesus.
And I did end up ultimately pull away from that game. One of the things that was crazy for me, and I didn't even realize this until like the 3rd turn, and so the report will be up on the channel later on. That'll be out when I post those, or maybe it's already up. Is the flamers? I actually completely forgot they had flamers.
Oh, on your Titans?
Yeah, and the thing is too, like, so the time that I remembered it was the time when he decided to charge me with his units, and I was like, oh wait, I have flamers on these things, and he's like, oh shit, so then he wouldn't have deployed, like he wouldn't have advanced so close to be in flamer range if he knew. But then I gave him the list beforehand, so he saw that there was flamers. It's not like I hid that from him.
Yeah.
But then
you just weren't shooting them.
I wasn't shooting them, and they were like right in my grill.
So he's like, oh okay, no danger.
Yeah, and then I was like, no, I have flamers on them. And then basically like 3 units died just to overwatch with flamers. Because he's just like, well, See you later. So, yeah, basically, like, I just ended up kind of cleaning up the middle, and I always have one knight, like, on the side, like, flanking, and, like, he just completely was untouched, and he was just, like, running through it on that side. And, my one knight in the corner on, like, the close to the camera, that one took a lot of damage. I mean, like, there's inevitably one knight that takes, like, all the shots.
Yeah.
But, like, he did die eventually, but he took a lot of, like, he absorbed a lot of firepower, right? So I was able to, so actually, I didn't win that game. That's right. I forgot. We actually had a perfect tie.
Yep.
26-26,
That's right.
right?
That's right. Yep.
So, as I was calling it, it was a perfect submarine because in ITC format, you could still move along pretty well if you don't lose. As long as you don't lose, it's important.
That's right.
And I was like, all right, sweet. Tie is perfect for just flying under the radar enough. I mean, to be honest, I was the only knight player, so it's not like I was like, when am I gonna get hit with the Eldar bomb? But
Yeah.
Anyways, so on to round 2.
Yep.
That mission was what? It was sorry.
I don't know.
I'll pull it up. It was, I believe.
Do you want to pause?
No, that's okay. Don't worry. No, I'll edit that. What's yours is mine.
Oh, was this one objective each?
Yeah, one objective each.
One objective each.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, so the next game we played was What's Yours is Mine, which is one objective on each side.
Yep.
So maybe just give us a little bit on like who you played and how the game went.
Yeah, I played a guy named Frank Caprero. He played a pure Death Guard list. It was a gorgeous army, very dark, but if you actually looked at them close up, you could see and appreciate the work you put into it. I've actually met Frank before. I was like, oh man, he seemed really familiar, and I used to meet him at Lionel's store, Planet X Planet in Mississauga. He used to be a big War Machine player, I guess. So, I didn't really think his list looked that scary until I played it. So it's got, I'm just double check here real fast. So what stood out for me is that he had a bunch of Plague Burst crawlers. He had 3 Plague Burst crawlers, and he had only 2 drones. And he had a lot of infantry. He had, I think, 2 squads of cultists. He had no poxwalkers. He had a squad of, I think, 10 plague marines. He had a squad of terminators. So most of his stuff looked very thematic. Like, didn't seem over the top. Didn't spam one thing. But what you learn is, as Death Guard do, it's really, really durable. I pretty much decided never to shoot his plague burst crawlers because they're way at the back. So by the time I got to engage them, it'd be like turn 3, turn 4, and it's not enough time to kill them. The toughness 8 with a 5+ invul and disgusting resilient and a crap ton of wounds. So it's not even worth shooting at them.
Some would say that's disgusting.
Some might say it's disgusting, exactly.
Yeah, that's right.
But the other problem was he played smart and he actually clogged me up in the center with his demon prince, his terminators, his bloat flies, and it just prevented me from getting deep into his zone. And again, he was just able to pick off my small units, get points, kill more than me, pull ahead with a kill more primary objectives. And one of the big standouts for me was his plague flies. So they were just murderous. He had double flamer on them, so he'd fly in 10, double shoot something, and then I'd be like, okay, well, I don't want you charging my vulnerable stuff in the back, like my characters, so I guess I'll charge you with brimstones or whatever, and they'd eat double flamers on the way in and get roasted, and then he's like, okay, well, that's cool, you charge me, I can't charge you anymore, I can still fly out and flame stuff.
Yeah.
Right? So they were constantly flaming me. And
bloat drones are so good.
Oh, it was just adding up. The damage was adding up. And I think I spent 1 turn shooting at them, and I didn't kill. I shot every Exalted Flamer, a bunch of smites, could not kill 1 bloat drone. Could not kill him. Just between the 5+ vulnerable, toughness 7, disgusting resilient. I crippled it, but when you automatically hit with flamers, it does not matter. It does not matter, right?
And it's not like the gun profile goes down.
It does go down in strength.
It does?
It does, but it doesn't matter against me because it's wounding on
That's true.
2s or 3s anyway, so it doesn't really matter too much.
And auto hit.
Auto hit, exactly. And they can still fight in combat. They're
Yeah.
still good enough to kill any characters they left straggling on their own. So they were a nightmare for me.
You got to deal with them, basically.
You gotta deal with them,
That's
yeah.
the problem.
And it was only 2. I think our buddy Gala brought like 5.
I wouldn't call him buddy, but yeah, I think he's fine.
So yeah, I was like, oh, these things are disgusting, So I think the flamers are really good in that they're flexible. You don't have to get into combat.
No.
They have range. You can fall back and still use them. It's a lot of shots.
They're slippery, man. Like they just they can get in there, and then you can't time down. They're
Yeah.
just like, and they have such good movement, right?
Yeah.
For Death Guard, anyways, right? Like,
Yeah.
and the range of the flamer is nothing to sneeze at,
Nothing
right?
to
So
sneeze
they
at.
can come reach out and touch you, right? So
That's right.
It's annoying. They're really good and really annoying.
That's right. And again, because I didn't know how my army worked, I ran out of steam on turn 3. By turn 3, I had exhausted all my command points. So I no longer had the 3+ invulnerable, and I no longer had the auto pass command morale checks. So
Yeah.
I was going down quickly after turn 3.
Yeah. So we'll try to go through this a little bit quicker because I think we have time to go, right? So.
Yeah.
But so I played against Skylar. He had a nid list. I think he had I'll just say it real quick. He had a Swarm Lord, a Hive Tyrant, 28 Harmagons, 19 Gene Stealers, 18 Gene Stealers, another Hive Tyrant, a Neurothrope, whatever that is, 2 units of 3 Ripper Storms, 28 Termagants, 4 Hive Guard, a couple Biovores, and a Trigon. And the thing is that in this mission, there's one on each side. I got to go first, and the table that we played on, basically there might as well not have been any terrain, right? So I just went like this, all right. And then, all right, turn 2. Right?
Yeah.
So it was just a lot of shooting, and granted, stuff got killed in the middle and all that stuff. Trigon came up and Clarence came in, but I got a good alpha strike on him. I just completely decimated a Gene Stealer unit, which is tough to do, and they're I would say, once I removed the teeth of the Swarm Lord, which I was able to do, and the Trigon. I mean, the Hive Tyrants are dangerous, but they're not that dangerous.
Yeah, especially against a knight that's toughness 8.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
So that was the problem for him, right? So
Yeah.
I did take a win on that one. So so let's move on to game 3.
Sure.
And game 3, the mission for that was it was Precious Cargo. That's where you have 4 objectives kind of evenly spread out.
Yep. Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so who did you play in that game?
Let me check real fast here. I played a guy named Kyle Moser, really nice dude. He played mono Nurgle demons, all Nurgle demons straight up.
Trees?
So he had, I shouldn't say that. I guess it does count. He had Mortarion.
Yeah.
He had Rodigus. He had a squad of 30 Plague Bears, squad of 20 Plague Bears. He had some support elements. He had 1 Plague Burst Crawler. He had 6 drones. And, he played really, really well. We had all 4 objectives in all the 4 corners. I'm not sure if that was a bad decision in hindsight. What happened was I put my Nurglings on them to capture them.
Well, it's not a decision. It's placed.
It must be.
It's exactly.
Okay.
It has to be placed.
I couldn't remember anymore.
Yeah.
So the Nurglings went on them. I'm like, sweet, I just have to invest small squads of Nurglings. Well, he would send his drones at them instead. So the drones are cheap. It's only 100 points. And they could easily kill the Nurglings and then capture the points. So now he was getting more objectives than me every single round. And what broke my back really was Mortarion. So I got him down to his last 4 wounds. And I had chosen for Kingslayer, which is worth 4 points. And my first 2 flamers shot him. I rolled a hit, rolled a wound, get past his vulnerable save. They multiplied to D3 wounds. I dealt him 7 wounds with my first 2 Exalted Flamers. He had to make his 5+ vulnerable saves, and I thought he's dead. 5+, Disgusting Resilient. And he made 5 out of 7. So he still lived with 2 more wounds. I shot my remaining Exalted Flamers, and between bad rolls and good saves, I could not kill him.
Yep.
And that was devastating because it meant that he lived, and if I was to kill him next round, I would not get Kingslayer because you have to take off 4 wounds at a time.
Oh, yeah.
So I was only going to get 3 points. At that point, he had already engaged my front line of all his Plague Bearers.
Oh, yeah.
I was slowly losing the objective game. And I had to go to a New Year's party that night.
Oh, yeah.
So I was like, you know what, man, good game. He's a nice dude. I don't want to be a sore loser, but I might as well just get out. Because, I pretty much left at that point because I was losing anyway, and I had to get to the dinner I was going to.
Yeah.
So I felt bad for quitting and conceding because I don't want to give a bad game. But I was like, there's no point. You're going to beat me.
Yeah.
And I was deflated. I lost 3 games at that point.
Yeah.
I was deflated anyhow, to be honest. I was a little bit of a sourpuss, I guess. So that was the long and short of my life.
I mean, it was surprising. End of day 1, you were 0-3.
0-3.
And I was like, well, I'll talk about my game, but I already had a win and a draw. I was like,
Yep.
I'm already doing better than
Crushing.
I was like,
Bam!
Anyway, so I'll talk about my game real quick.
Yep.
I played against Tim Dutleaf.
Yeah.
I think I'm pronouncing it right that way. He's
Yeah.
my friend. He lives in, I think now, London, but he's from Barrie, basically.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think he goes to school that ways.
Oh, cool.
But he was taking basically a chaos kind of Death Guard mixed list. He had 3 blow drones, a couple Nurgling units, the secret tech that he had though was really 2 units of Warp Talons, right? And those were actually doing some work, right? Just overall.
That is secret tech. Warp Talons. What the?
Warp Talons, yeah, no, seriously. And they did some work, but the thing that I really think was the key for him was those bloat drones.
Bloat drones.
I know. I mean, I poured so much into them, and I couldn't drop them down with knights, right? I'm like, I'm doing damage too, and I still like can't get through it. And maybe at
Top of 7.
Top of the 7 is tough. That's what I'm saying. So
that's right.
winning up 5s with those Reaper autocannons.
Double save.
Yeah. I mean, like, it was a close game, but I think like that was the big X factor there. That caused a big difference, right?
Yeah.
So that was like the end of day 1.
Yeah.
So we're just gonna like motor through all these. So game 4 was who did you play against in game 4?
Theo Huffles.
Theo Huffles.
Yeah.
And what was the mission for that? Crucible of Champions, what was that?
I'm trying to remember. There were 6 objectives, I think, though. There were 6 objectives.
Yeah, so Crucible of Champions, yeah.
Yeah.
No, is it?
I'm not sure what the name was, but it was 6 objectives.
Okay. Yeah.
I didn't beat him that game. The terrain beat him that game. There was this one table they had, which literally had, I think, a 2x2, if not bigger, castle ruin in the center of the table.
This thing was massive.
It was huge.
Yeah.
It was massive.
Like you could probably stand inside that thing.
I probably could. So I had read his list before, the night before. I'm like, oh crap, he's got like a shooting Mechanicum army with like 4 robots, 2 onagers, Basilar's Crawl, and I was like, okay, I've seen how much damage you guys can do with shooting. I might be enough for a hard game here. Oh wait, I've got this castle on my team. Never mind, I'm okay.
Yeah,
so literally, I hid my core of my army, all the flamers, all the pinks inside the castle for the whole game. So you couldn't shoot them because it's ITC and you can't shoot in the Bonfire Ruins. And he had deployed as a castle himself in the corner. So I deployed my other sneaky stuff like Nervines and whatnot on the other side. So I was getting more objectives than him. We weren't killing anything at all. So slowly but surely, I was capturing
all those points.
Yeah. It was a bloodless game for the most part.
Yeah.
And it was boring as heck.
Yeah.
But I won't lie to you, I was desperate for win. I was like, I could get out of here and fight you.
Yeah.
I could do that.
Yeah.
Or I can just play it safe and get the easy win. So I went for the easy win.
Yeah. Fair enough. A win's a win.
A win's a win.
A win's a win.
Exactly.
And when you're 0-3.
0-3, I'll take anything.
It's just like
just a glimpse of light.
Just all in my face.
I think Riv didn't actually walk by the table, and Theo kind of made a comment like, "Oh man, this table's brutal." He's like, "Well, you gotta go get him." He's like, "I play Admech, bro. I play Admech. What's supposed to do about that?"
Hey, that's the list you build.
That's the list you
then
build.
You gotta know that could happen.
You built a turtle army.
Yeah, so if you build a turtle army, you know that you're not gonna be able to get them.
That's right.
So, so against the game I played against was against Jeff Pandaria, I want to say, and actually that's a game that was on the stream by the Basement Collective.
Oh
right?
yeah. More nids, right?
Yeah, and more nids, but I would say the Barrie Bash had a lot of nid players.
A lot of surprising amount of nids.
Very weird, but of all the nid builds, this is the nid build that could take my army out. Because they had this guy had 2 Tyrannofexes, right?
Yeah, who takes Tyrannofexes?
Who takes Tyrannofexes? And I'm like, what's the range on these things? 48, and they're strength 10? And how much damage do they do? And they double shoot if they don't move? GG, man, GG. I mean, like, he's a super nice guy, and actually, he like lives a block away from me.
Oh, really?
He does, yeah.
That's amazing.
Like,
new best friends.
That's right, new best buds. But he can't play the nid list against me. But yeah, he had a bunch of Hive Guard and stuff like that. You know, the thing is that my first turn was spent just trying to knock down the Tyrannofexes down, like the profile, so they hit on 4s. But you know, turn 1, those Hive Guards still got to to 1, and they still did enough damage that turn 1 he took out a knight. Turn 1 takes out one knight. That's actually really hard.
That's impressive.
Like no one up to that point was able to do that.
Yeah.
And
wow.
You know, so like I'm used to like having the knights for at least a couple turns, and then he took one out turn 1, took the other one out turn 2. Woo! So needless to say, I got tabled in that game because I was just like, just rip out the teeth of my army.
Yeah,
right? So it's tough, but you know, he had a really good list, which was, I mean, debatable if it's good in the meta sense.
Right.
But for my build,
yes,
where you have big like small number of high value targets,
that's right.
Tyrannofexes do work.
Checkmate.
That's like
checkmate.
Chat. Good old Rock. Nothing beats Rock. He bought that paper, baby.
Paper.
So that's how that game went. And so then the last game you played against. That was actually the last one is the 6 objective mission.
Oh, okay.
I'm looking at it. That's Siege Ground. Right?
Okay, cool.
And then that is you played against. Who did you play against?
Eric Lund.
Eric Lund. Okay. Cool.
Oh yeah, he was a super nice dude. He was playing Blood Angels.
Yeah.
And he had what I would say the problem with his army. The reason why I eventually got him was that his army was just too normal. So it was like a predator and an assault squad,
Predator.
and a razorback and a tactical
I was
squad.
playing Highlander.
It's a bit of everything, pretty much, right? The real scary stuff in his army was 2 Storm Ravens. They're always scary, of course, and he had Dante, so he could make them reroll all their hits. But he wasn't really familiar at all with the Pink Star did. So he flew up both Ravens right away in my grill, unloaded everything. He technically killed a lot of models, but I only removed, I think, like 4 pinks, because those 4 pinks became 8 brims. Those 8 brims became 8 blues. Those 8 brims became 8 brims. So he didn't remove a lot of models.
But did he kill all the brims and blues then?
He really killed maybe 20% of my army, 20% of that blob. So he really didn't do that much damage.
Yeah.
So he was like, oh crap. My return fire knocked out 1 Storm Raven, and from that point on, he was on the back foot. He was like, oh crap, he just pulled back, and he gave up board control to me. I was able to capture all the objectives, do my recon thing. He wasn't killing much either, because he was still focused on the brims. If he was aware of how my army functioned, he should have killed the support units first. Get the easy points off that, but he was too obsessed with killing the Pink Star, because it looks scary.
Well, I mean, there is a point of throwing at least 1 Storm Raven into it in order for you to like tease out those 2 command points.
True.
Just to like drain those command points, right?
Yeah.
And like so, but to put the minimum amount that will force you to take the 2 command points, and then take out all the support, right?
Yes.
Because it's like, well, if you burn just 2 and then you throw everything at it, that's the maximum benefit of.
Yes, for me, exactly.
That's but like if you just do enough just to get it out, and then you kill everything else.
Yeah.
As soon as you pull out those 2 CPs, I'm done shooting at that unit.
Yes. What's hilarious too is that I actually have to use those CPs at the start of the phase.
Oh,
you could literally shoot nothing at the unit.
Oh, that's right. Okay, great. Oh,
Yeah.
so then the threat has to be there. That's okay. That's even better. Then.
Yeah. So I have to use it at the start of the phase, anticipating you're gonna shoot me.
Yeah, and you won that game.
I won that game because again he was just too obsessed. I think killing the Pink Star, and I was able to get my secondaries. But he was a super nice guy, and he was very like very humble in defeat. He was just like, oh man, well what do you think I could have done?
Oh,
he wasn't sour about it at all. He was like, yeah, your trick beat my trick. So.
He was like the anti-Clarence after game 3.
Well, pretty much, exactly. I was a sourpuss after that game for sure, dude. When he made 5 out of 7 field 5+ discussed resilient rolls, I was just like, can't even give me that, dude. You can't give me that.
What is this? What is this garbage?
Rough.
Yeah. So my last game, I played against good old Dip Life Tristan Mitchell.
Oh, Dip Life
with his Dip Life Tau. Oh, super dip. Super meta list.
Dip hooray!
Yeah, actually, I got on the video on the channel us chanting.
The chant, yes.
The chant of Dip Life.
Dip Life.
But one thing, so like I'll just like overall, I was able to zone him with my Nurglings, and I killed a lot of stuff, right? But I think like Tau have the firepower to deal with Knights.
He had a lot of meltas, I'm sure, right?
He had a lot of meltas. I mean, to his credit, like those commanders that had the meltas didn't do as much damage as they should have done. So, but he still has enough shooting, like to really grind down all my Knights and stuff like that.
He's a lot of hammerheads and stuff, right?
Hammerhead, yeah. So like, and that long strike, I want to say.
Oh yeah, long strike's good
so
stuff.
Long strike was good, and and the thing that I didn't really kind of appreciate is that you could take breachers and drones that are nearby and then pass off to the drones from breachers. I thought that was only a commander thing. So I mean, I didn't realize that you could do that.
I think that's right. Yeah, I think it's battle suits or infantry probably.
Yeah, so because like I was trying to go like heavy on objectives because I knew that like Tower kind of like tricksy and they don't want to do it. Like I could jump out to a lead. Like I got the bonus on that one, turn 1. Because I was like on all 5 objectives. On 5 objectives.
Oh wow!
6, like in turn 1. So
that's crazy.
So I got max points in the first turn, and I still had 4 points in turn 2. So I was able to jump up to a pretty good lead in the beginning. He really clawed it back because like in turn 5 I was basically dead, and he was getting all the objectives and stuff like that. So turn 5, turn 6 he got like. That's where he made his points. If I decided to slow play him, then then I would have had him.
Though it's hard to do that when you only have like.
I mean, I could hum and haw a little bit longer, but
true.
I'm not that type of player, right? So I'll play it, no problem.
Yeah,
it's fine. And it was a fun game. It was cool. I mean, I don't see why people complain about Tau as much as they do, but maybe I'm not, whatever. I'm playing Knights, so whatever.
Yeah.
I'm there to have a good time.
Yeah.
I'm an Age of Sigmar player mostly.
Yeah.
8th edition, like literally, this is like in this weekend, I played more games of 8th edition than I've played in the entire edition.
That's true. Yeah. 5 games.
5 games. That's right. More than my cumulative total for 8th edition games.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I was happy with my result. I mean, I had a win, a tie, and 3 losses. Yeah, 3 losses, which for Knights. Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
And that was good enough for what? 30 something.
I don't know. I can check.
I think I actually finished just before you.
You finished above me. You finished above me. That's for sure.
That's right. The guy with 3 nights over here finished above Clarence, and I finished above Diogo too.
Diogo went 1-4. He's our good friend, very competitive player, but he was sick.
Was he sick?
He was sick.
I mean, his dice were sick. I mean, maybe. Or maybe Blood Angels aren't that good, and he's just going to go like this now, too.
That's true.
Death Bond. Anyways, so my thoughts on the tournament overall. I mean, I believe the venue was fantastic, right? Like, there's a lot of space. There's a lot of space for people to, like, put their armies down and stuff like that. It was good food. Food was on site.
Food was good.
Yeah. And
beer was good.
Yeah, beer was good. It's convenient. It was well run. You know, typically... There's always some hiccups, I think, when running a large enough tournament. That
no, it's pretty smooth.
It was overall pretty smooth, I'd say.
Smooth, yeah.
And the crowd was, it was pretty good, I'd say, overall.
Mixed bag.
Yeah.
Mixed bag.
Some guys were, I mean, they weren't too happy, but some guys were like, there's a little bit of drama. Dude, were you aware of what the drama?
I saw some drama. I'm not sure if it's the same drama.
Okay, I don't know.
They did use the death clocks.
The death clocks in for the final couple rounds.
For the final couple rounds.
Yeah.
And then round 4, after my game, I was watching one particular round.
Yeah.
And it got angry.
I mean, I'm not even aware because I'm just there rolling like dice, like playing stupid nights, like having fun, right?
So that was a little bit of a shock to me. In fact,
Yeah.
I was by the table, and then the judge who was watching the table the entire time said, "You should probably back up and make sure they have all the space they need." But yeah, it was interesting. But most people were good.
Yeah.
There's always a couple of really competitive players.
Yeah, I mean,
always a couple.
It's a big tournament, right? Like,
Yeah.
so there's a lot on the
Maybe a lot of
line.
Americans actually.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Not that I'm blaming the Americans.
No, I'm just saying it's a big tournament. It drew people from the
Yeah,
States
that's
all the
true.
way to Barrie to play games. That's pretty crazy.
And unfortunately, he was signed up, but he couldn't make it. Was the coach?
Ben.
Ben. Yeah, the coach from the Canadian ETC team, who was a sub basically. Ben was. Yeah, I think he had some travel issues or something. They couldn't make it, but yeah, I mean, I love the Barrie Bash. My 3rd time going.
Yeah, it's really well done. I think we're doing a fantastic job.
Yeah, this year he was excellent with staying on the time notices. Maybe a couple years back he might have forgotten to say them, or he didn't have the mic to kind of scream it out. Yeah, and it was great. I would say so.
Yeah, for sure.
It was a very easy kind of tournament to go to in terms of like. You know, you're not just dead tired and like stuff like that, right? So
3-2 is great for amount of games.
3-2 is good, yeah.
3-2 is good. And what's I want to say about the event? No, I just had a really good time.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, how do you feel about like ITC missions though?
I like them. I like them because the other way to play would be if you compare it to, let's say, Rulebook, where you play with Maelstrom cards. And the big problem with Maelstrom cards is it's already a luck-based game, and then to throw more luck into your objectives can be a problem.
Yeah.
So I like the fact that you can choose secondaries.
Yeah.
My problem with ITC is that it's for competitive players. Like if I was to introduce this idea to our casual group at my local store, for example, they'd be like, "What the heck's ITC? It sounds scary. It sounds serious." But it's not. You know, one of my friends went up with us, and he was like, "This is my favorite set of missions," because he's played a lot of Rulebook 40K, and he's like, "I hate getting screwed by cards." And to be able to choose secondaries, to be always in the game and have a chance, made him appreciate the game more. Because he was actually not liking 40K much. I think that event turned him around a little bit on enjoying it. Yeah, for sure.
Who's
yeah.
that?
That's Rule.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah. He was like, "Wow, if I actually play smart and play tactically, I don't have to kill you. I can hold more objectives. I can do recon. I can do behind enemy lines. I have other options to get points, and it's not card dependent either."
Cards, yeah. I mean, you know, the 7th edition version of ITC was roll dice, and
right. It was like a mini Maelstrom.
It was even. I mean, like it was not as varied. I'll say, like it was because it was all predetermined, but you know. For it to change turn by turn, the variability of having it change turn by turn is something that's a little bit like rough, right? So you still have variability in that you choose secondaries, which is actually very empowering. That's a big thing. But having them not shift on you turn to turn is a giant thing, right? So it makes certain. The level of certainty it definitely offers a level of certainty. I mean, my only thing is like the primer is kind of a snooze fest though.
A little bit.
Right? Like, did I kill more than you? All right.
Yeah. And the other problem too is you literally would change the way you build your armies to play ITC as well.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's not great for
I got a 19-man unit.
Exactly. I got
that's kind of stupid, man. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that makes it a little prohibitive for pickup play because you know you want to juice it, and then if a guy isn't playing the format, you're like, yeah, sucker dude took a 20-man squad, Reaper baby.
That's 2 points. You didn't even know. Like
bam. So
like,
yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know. I'm sorry.
Yeah. You want to play this game, not me.
Yeah, but I mean, so like we have the Canhammer Team Tournament coming up. That's running ETC format, though,
Yes.
right? So the mission structure there is very different.
Very different.
I would be interested to see what your thoughts are on it after the tournament, in terms of like how you feel the missions are relative to ITC. Would you rather play, if you had an event that you could choose, let's say, which one would you prefer?
Right.
I think the best way is really just to play the event first.
Yeah.
You know, the other dynamic that's at play with obviously the team tournament is the team aspect of matching.
Yes.
Being able to do that. That's
for sure.
So it's a little bit difficult to disentangle those two, but anyways. So yeah, I mean, that's my thoughts on the Barrie Bash.
Yeah.
And do you have any other things you want to say?
No, I think Rivden did a great job. We've run events before. Actually, he's helped me run Conquest, and he's run Weekon Wargaming himself, so we can appreciate both sides of the table, I think.
Yeah.
And it looks smooth from a hobbyist gamer perspective, so I'm sure it's never that smooth on his end. I'm sure it was.
Things are always on fire in the background.
Yeah, exactly. But the front of the store looked great.
yeah, exactly. So, I mean, yeah, it's big shout outs to Scary. You know, that's a lot of work that he puts in, a lot of like blood, sweat, and tears that no one ever sees, and also Evan, he did a lot of work too, as far as I know.
Sure.
And I mean, he was instrumental. I'm sure that Scary will give him all the credit in the world.
Yep.
But yeah, between those two guys and Martin and all the other people that were supporting the event,
volunteering and helping out tables and terrain.
Yeah, absolutely. And there was a lot of people that did provide terrain. I mean,
absolutely.
I know terrain sourcing is a big
expense,
big thing.
And it's tough.
And it's difficult to like house and all that stuff.
So it's good to have the community get together and make that event so successful as it was.
Yeah, so I mean, that's everything from me on Barrie Bash.
Sounds good.
And I think you're good.
Yeah.
And until next time, hasta la vista. All right.